This is CBS.
The Commerce Body Shop tells us that if it weren't for their ad in the GTE Yellow Pages, they wouldn't have about 50% of their business. So, like Commerce Body, why don't you take a nice big ad in the GTE Yellow Pages and watch your business grow?
The 1984 Isuzus for the functional economies of everyday driving, for the longer haul and the work at hand, for the freedom to escape from anything practical, and for the impulse of living your wildest dreams. All the 1984 Isuzus, now at your Southern California Isuzu dealer.
The Emmy winners Scotch video cassettes for having pioneered and perfected videotape.
Watching your favorites day after day, keeping the wonder play after play, knowing the color and brightness will stay. The world watches Scotch. The world watches, world watches, world watches.
Available at Warehouse Records and Big Ben stores. Is our wilderness really vanishing? Monday at 6 on Channel 2 News.
As long as there's been an Earth, the moving masses of air we called winds swept back and forth across its surface. As long as there's been an ocean, the waters have stirred and risen to the passage of those winds. As long as we have known waves, we have tried to catch and ride them. It began taking shape so long ago, there was no one there to see it happen. When the Earth was a spinning ball of molten liquid, a tidal wave of the stuff rose so monstrous and high, it tore away and hurled into space. It left a giant scar that millions of years later filled with water to become the Pacific Ocean. After an immense extent of time, islands began bubbling and building in the bosom of this ocean. Liquid rock. Layer upon layer of the Earth's precious core creeping out. Over and over again for millions of years, erupting, hissing, steaming, cooling. Islands struggling to be born. According to ancient legend, there was a group of islands growing in the Pacific different from all the others. Youthful islands, sleeping in the sun, full of surprises and waiting. In a few more million years, they came. Men of Bora Bora, women of Tahiti, people of Polynesia. Those first wave riders, pushed by the wind's feet. They found the different islands and called them Hawaii. And they still come. Men of Boston, women of Detroit, people of Pittsburgh, Portland, Pensacola. American adventurers who've come to learn how to catch and ride their own waves. Their teacher,
okay, come out of it.
former world
This
surfing
canoe right
champion
here, it's a
Fred
modern
Hemmings
canoe made
Jr.
out of fiberglass and wood. It's exactly a duplication of the ancient Hawaiian canoes. And of course, we know the Hawaiians' whole culture, whole existence was based on their relationship with the ocean. And the canoe was what they traveled with and what they fed their families with by virtue of going out fishing and everything. And they also did exactly what we're going to do now. They rode waves in it too, just like surfboards. And catching a wave in a canoe is exactly like you would with a surfboard. You have to remember that the wave is a moving wall of water, and you have to get a little speed so that you fall down this wall of water. It's like riding a moving hill of water. Let's just kind of paddle out and go out around the surf and wait outside and see if we can wait for a good little wave to ride.
To catch a wave,
Come on.
you have to know how to find it and where. For most of us, the search begins on a different kind of ocean, the great air ocean. In a giant jet-propelled canoe of the skies. We come, Malahinis, visitors, novices and experts, come to try to catch our wave. Hawaii is not only the historical source, but the vital center of an international surfing world. It has a life and culture that grew from the ocean.
You're never too young or you're never too old. There are gentlemen in Waikiki who have been businessmen, who have taken the sport up, 50, 60 years old and go out and play in the ocean every day. And of course, there are young school children that are 7 or 8 years old that are getting their first board and starting the sport at a very young age.
Surfing is one of the few elements of ancient Hawaiian life to survive into modern times. There are several ways to catch a wave. Some of us read about it. Some of us lie on the beach and dream our waves. Some of us do a ritual dance of anticipation without ever getting feet wet. A lot of us imitate ancient South Sea Islanders and body surf. The rest of us continue the adventure by catching our first wave with a canoe. Mother Sea is patient and challenging. You've had your first wave with others. Tomorrow, she wants you all to herself. You on a surfboard.
The year is 1984, and this year the Ram's out to get you. With Dodge D150 pickups, Ram tough and fun to look at. With Dodge Ram Charger, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. And with our 5-year, 100,000-mile rust-through warranty. So compare Dodge to anything you like. This year, the Ram's out to get you.
We are Dodge, an American revolution.
Buy one now at your Southern California Dodge dealers.
This is our first commercial. What should we say?
Hey, let's just get this new Yamaha ready for delivery.
Let's advertise our family's been in business for 32 years.
We have one of the largest selection of brand name new and used pianos and organs.
Plus, with every piano and organ purchase, we offer free lessons for the entire family.
Just tell them about the low prices.
You boys could never agree on anything.
Ah, Dad.
Fields & Sons Pianos and Organs. Locations in Costa Mesa, Riverside, and Garden Grove.
These are handicapped children rehearsing their own production of Camelot. This is one of the many activities they enjoy at the 2 summer camps operated by the Crippled Children's Society of Southern California. The 7 service centers also offer the handicapped swimming instruction, speech therapy, family counseling, and equipment loans. Rehabilitative workshops provide training and employment for disabled young adults. If you know a handicapped person who needs help, call the Crippled Children's Society at 213-874-3300.
Waves make confused patterns in the open seas. Some waves are doomed never to reach any shore. Others are destined to roll across half an ocean before they dissolve in thunder on some distant beach, with you on board.
Most of the young kids who are involved in the sport will know their capabilities and don't go out and surf they don't belong in. I've even spent many days sitting on the shore and watching waves break that I knew I didn't belong out in. I've found myself many times talking to myself and talking to the wave and swearing at it and having it pound me and coming up and cussing it even more.
Even though surfing must have started when some ancient Polynesian jumped on a drifting plank of wood, today's beginners take time to learn fundamentals.
Of course, now we're in the space age of surfboard design, and every surfboard is designed particularly for the person who's going to ride it. This board right here, as compared to the old ones, is very light, maybe 15 pounds. It's made out of foam, and it has a little wood reinforcement stringer. But basically, the thing about boards nowadays is that they're custom made and they're custom designed and shaped. Each one is a little different, and each one has different attributes. Big wave boards are made for big waves, and they have stability. Small wave boards are made for maneuvering on small waves, and they're designed to turn quickly. You notice the tail's a little wider, and of course we have the skeg or the fin, which is just like a vertical stabilizer on an aircraft. It keeps you in the face of the wave.
Freddie, why does that board have two points on the tail versus one here?
This is just basically a new innovation. It's called a swallowtail board. And the back end of a board is, of course, your turning surface. And this is going to give you a little more leverage by virtue of the fact that you have more or less two parts of the board to dig into the face of the wave. The front of the board, of course, has a lot of scoop. As you drive down the face of the wave, you're actually penetrating into the wave. If you had a straighter surface up here, you'd dig into the wave and you'd, of course, wipe out. Here, Rudy, grab this room. When you get back to the swell marching across the ocean, you're not talking about actual water moving. You're talking about an energy form moving. It's like when I jiggle this rope, you can see a little crest march across the rope. Well, the rope's not moving. It's just the energy that you've generated by your hand. Actually, a surfer has to be totally aware of not only what's above the ocean, but what's below it also, because if you run into them or wipe out on a big wave and you hit it, it can cut you to ribbons.
At Kuma Cove, Marge, Tracy, Rudy, Fred, and his little son Heath try the gentle wave.
You ready to go now? Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Surfing is logical, abstract, spiritual, physical, emotional, and at first, slightly confusing.
Of course, every place is different. Sometimes, you know, you'll get a day with 10 or 12 waves coming in one after another, and other days there won't be any waves. When a series of waves come, you have to analyze it. Every day is different. You know, the surf changes, and every wave is different. So you have to analyze what's happening, and then you have to pick the wave that you think you can do the most with. Sometimes they might break fast, sometimes they might break slow. Sometimes you'll have to stall on them. Sometimes you'll have to get in a crouch and try to go fast. But you don't have to worry too much about a bad wipeout today because the waves are small. Like maybe this one is good. The biggest attribute I feel that a big wave rider has is not so much his physical skill, but his mental skills, his experience. And that is probably the key word in surfing. Developing your sixth sense, developing a kinship, a feeling for the ocean, being able to read the ocean, being able to ride the ocean, being able to communicate with it and ride the wave as it happens. I would say it's definitely the major part of surfing. My son Heath is 2.5 years old. He got on a surfboard when he was 6 months, and I take him out in the ocean not really to learn anything specific, but mostly just to get used to the ocean. He actually gets very excited about being in the water, the action and the sounds and the sights. I could say very definitely he's very thrilled about being a part of the surfing. Does this look like a good one? Let's give it a try. Stand up. I got you. I got you. There we go. We're right in together. There we go. Here. Oh, look at this. Little right side. Have to turn right. There we go.
The ocean is a boundless, changing, unpredictable creature. It lets you find the first few waves, small, soft, and tantalizing, to make sure you come back.
Okay.
Come back to try to catch the bigger, more challenging wave.
You want to go by yourself?
Mamma mia, what are you baking? Don't you worry, Stanley. That is in the making.
O, moje nogi bolą tak strasznie. Ja muszę mieć węz. Węz is in the making. Dobre, dobre, kupujcie węz. Tak, tak.
Vans will fit any foot, any size, even the little guys.
JCPenney unearths the most brilliant sale of diamonds, all at 30 to 50% savings. Cocktail rings, bridal sets, and more. Choose from a glittering expanse of 14-karat gold charms and earrings, all at 40% savings. And save 50% on all 14-karat gold chains. As far as the eye can see, riches to stagger the imagination, all at great after Thanksgiving sale savings. Limited time only at JCPenney.
You are watching a fire that killed 5 people. 5 firefighters caught by a sudden whirlwind change inside an inferno hotter than a volcano. I'm Robert Stack. Do you know how many of these killer fires are started? By arson. Fires that are deliberately set. Fires that burn homes of innocent people, destroy thousands of acres of timber. Fires that burn grazing land and brush that animals use for shelter. Fires that expose the soil to damaging rains. Arson. You can help stop this senseless, vicious crime. If you think you see an act of arson, get a description of the people and the vehicles involved. Then call the nearest fire department or office of the California Department of Forestry. There is a reward. Arson. You can help snuff it out.
A fire prevention message from the California Department of Forestry.
Hawaii's history is mostly spoken. Legends and stories handed down from one generation to another. The Bernice Bishop's Museum was founded in 1889 to try to hold on to the more solid pieces of history.
It's really amazing that you think of all the societies that have gone through the surf to go fishing and then come back to the surf in the evening, that only the Hawaiians developed surfing as a recreation, harness the power of the waves for fun and pleasure. In fact, they used to have huge makahikis, or huge festivals, which surfing would be one of the sports, and they'd actually have contests. And it's really a pretty colorful thing to watch people try to ride these old boards. I had an opportunity of riding one once, and I'll tell you, the real hard thing was trying to get them into the water.
Mark Twain visited the island in the 1860s, was amused to see sun-browned people standing on boards, almost walking on water.
The missionaries came to the islands, of course, settled the islands and brought Christianity and various sundry other things to the islands. And one of the things they did was suppress the sport of surfing as just a frivolous activity that the Hawaiians didn't need.
In 1907, Jack London learned to surf and wrote passionately about what he called the royal sport of surfing.
And the ancient Hawaiians didn't slide their boards across the face of the wave that much. They mostly rode straight in. And of course, these things are so big that you wouldn't be able to do any fast turns or anything with them, so you really don't need a skeg. Duke Kahanamoku revived the sport in the early part of this century and got it going again. And of course,
well, Duke was really the one that made the surfing popular again then, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Duke took the sport to California, and he took it to Australia and introduced it there. And of course, now the sport's, of course, all over the world. In fact, Duke got a legendary ride. Back in 1911, he rode from a place called Castles, which is way outside Waikiki off Diamond Head, and stepped off on the beach at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. It was over a mile and a half of continuous riding. Wow. And he rode up, and so when I was traveling with him many years back, I said, Duke, boy, that ride was really something. And he said, yeah, Freddie, He says, nobody will ever get a ride like that again. I've never heard him boast, you know. He wasn't the kind of man to talk about himself. And then he went on to say, you know, and explain himself. He said, Freddie, the reason nobody will ever get a ride like that again is because the bottom has changed in Waikiki and the waves will no longer break that long. Yeah. You know, he wasn't boasting at all. He was just relating a fact.
On the north shore of Oahu, there is exactly the right combination of ocean swell and shoreline configuration that produces the best and biggest waves in the world. This is a place for international contests, a place to make or break champions. Hawaiian nights come dancing out of day with a kind of visual energy, a blending of sky and moon and mother sea. Marge, Tracy, Rudy have come to share the excitement and wonderings the night before a big contest. Billy Hamilton, Hawaii. Mike Purpose, California. Paul Nielsen, Australian champion.
In Australia, we just get swells any time of the year. Like winter, the way it usually works, but I'm not guaranteeing the way it works, is winter we usually get consistent, you know, 5 to 6 foot waves. In summer, where I live, we get cyclones and we get, you know, big swells.
We can anticipate a swell, and I know that right now, about 1,000 miles, 900,000 miles north of us, there is a low pressure system. And Mike, in California, you predominantly get the same swell we do. Is it as predictable?
Yeah, we're there the day before, and we know exactly when the swell's going to hit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about ready to start the Pan American Pro Championships here at Sunset Beach. There's a big test building outside, so we're looking for some big waves. Now, you remember, we've got contestants from all over the world.
This is the running scoreboard. Each heat will be posted up here as to your who is in the heat and as to your wave scores that you ride in each heat. Are there any questions?
How about the guys in the water, George?
People helping in the water cannot go into the takeoff area or the wave riding area. They have to stay in the channel so that they will not interfere with any of the contestants.
A surfer will gain the most points by riding the largest wave, the greatest distance, not only from point A to point B, but you actually travel on a three-dimensional distance. You travel horizontally across the surface of the ocean, vertically up and down the face of the wave, and you actually travel across the front of the wave, being in the most critical part of the wave, in the eye of the wave. That's going to get you a lot of points. The ultimate relationship to a wave is being able to catch the wave and have perfect judgment to the point that you can stall your board or position yourself in the actual part of the wave that is more or less the limbo, and this is called the curl or the tube.
You can hit the bottom in 30 feet of water, get turned around, start swimming for the top and swim back into the bottom. I'm scared every time it's over 10 feet, yeah. That's the sport of it, the fear is there.
When they get much over 20 feet, you don't even measure the waves by the height in feet. Maybe it'd be better to measure it by increments of fear, because that's what you are. You're really scared of big waves, and of course, it's the same old challenge thing, man against the sea, and you want to get the most out of the waves if you can. And then when you ride a good wave, you get so exhilarated about it, you might, symbolically say super ride or thanks or let's do it again, or, you find yourself really getting caught up in it. You get the more or less a surfing fever. You get this psychological craving for it where you're actually working with nature very closely and with the elements, and you get caught up in it.
When you ride a wave, you compete with the ocean. There are maybe 25 people in the world who can catch and ride the giant waves of Waimea, Sunset Beach, or the Banzai Pipeline. So even though it is a professional contest, it is still a place to come, watch, and learn how to catch the big wave.
You're not conscious of the beach. You're not conscious of what's behind the wave or what's too far ahead of the wave, or even what's behind you. You're caught up in your very small little world. You're aware of your trim, of how fast you're moving, of your relationship to the wave, of your trajectory, of where you're going on it, and what you're going to do, and everything else doesn't matter.
Pick up and get on down. The day is coming on. Get the sand between your toes. Get the board tucked under your arm.
feel the sun shining from the blue. The sky is clear and I saw you. Paddle out, get ready for the ride back in. You're not thinking about the race you're trying to win. You just love the thrill of the ride on the sea and the waves roll in. You might have done it many times before, but every trip seems something more. Paddle out, get ready for the ride back in. Get up, don't be shy, get ready to roll. Aim yourself, look to the shore, let the hours fly. You might have done it many times before, but every trip seems something more. Paddle out, get ready for the ride back in.
They surf extensively in Southern California. They surf during the summer all the way from Maine down to the tip of Florida, and during the winter, I've seen even some insane guys, you know, in New England with full wetsuits on with snow on the beach. Being in this curl, it's like being in the womb of Mother Sea and being reborn. That's how exciting or how personal the feeling can be.
If you have a wish for wave and a dream to be reborn, there is a wave waiting. Florida, California, Oregon, Maine, Hawaii. There's a wave. All you have to do is go and catch it.
You may not have been expecting it, but here it is. An American revolution has hit Southern California.
Dodge, an American revolution.
Here, now, Dodge Daytona and Daytona Turbo. Two totally new and totally American sports cars. Fast, slippery, sexy, and backed by 550 protection. See them before the one you want is gone.
We are Dodge, an American revolution.
Buy one now at your Southern California Dodge dealers.
Sportmart suits you to a T with special savings on Sam Snead Blue Ridge Golf Clubs by Wilson. These medium flex steel shaft beauties are perfectly matched to fit your swing and your budget. At Sportmart for only $169.94. And if tennis is your love, stock up on these Wilson Championship tennis balls, smashing price of just $1.94 a can. On the course or on the courts, you'll save. For Wilson, it's Sportmart.
For sports, it's Sportmart. Welcome to Banner Carpet's $1 million anniversary sale. It's like money from heaven. $1 million of America's finest soil and stain-resistant carpets reduced up to half off. If you need carpet, now is the time. You'll love this carpet. Magnificent Anso 4 nylon carpet that withstands life's little accidents and continues to look new longer. Anso 4 nylon with built-in stain protection has what it takes to take it spill after spill. Join us and celebrate the greatest sale event in our history. Banner Carpet's $1 million anniversary sale. We're so hot, we're sizzling.
Know you're clean.
Invigorated.
How do you know you're clean?
Ultra stimulated.
The feeling of ghosts, lather and scent is stimulating ultra refreshment. We got a feeling you want.
And I've got it.
We got a feeling you need.
You're telling me.
If you don't have that ghost sensation, how will you know?
I know.
How will you know? How will you know you're clean?
Monday night, join Steve Edwards and Melody Rogers as they take you to a tropical paradise in the Caribbean. Bask in the brilliant sunshine of the beautiful Bahamas on Two on the Town, Monday night at 7:30, right here on Channel 2.
Whenever you feel like smoking a cigarette, instead of striking up a match, just strike up the band. The Larry Hagman Special Stop Smoking Wrist Snapping Red Rubber Band.
This is a test.
This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official information, news, or instructions. This station serves the Los Angeles area. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
You know, at Midas, we install over 12,000 mufflers every day. It's a good thing we work fast.
An analytical look at Rams versus Raiders fans, Monday at 6. This Lakers preview is sponsored